Hello everyone. We all are familiar with the geometrical properties of ordinary three-dimensional Euclidean space. So basically we are talking like this. I have certain kind of space. So in three dimension one can represent some quantity like this. So I have one coordinate, second coordinate and third coordinate. So here I have x, y and z. So any point can be represented using x1, y1 and z1. So this is called basically three-dimensional Euclidean space, and during your 10+2 you are whatever things you have learned, basically you are learned in this particular space only, and a persistent theme in mathematics is the grouping of various kind of object into abstract space. So basically here abstract space is Euclidean space we are telling. So basically why we are grouping enables us to extend our intuition of the relationship between points in Euclidean space to the relationship between more general kind of object, and using this relation we are able to develop a clear and deeper understanding of the objects. So what basically I am quoting here, that suppose that I have some object in this particular space. I have given certain name, that is P, and so this is one point, and suppose that you can give P1 and another point in this space is P2. So if we are able to develop some kind of relationship between P1 and P2, and one of the most important relation basically we are developing, that is distance from the origin. So suppose we are seeing position here x1, y1, z1, and P2 is another distance, and name of this point you can give. So P1 is x1, y1, z1, and after that I have some point P2, that is x2, y2 and z2. So if we see the relationship between these 2 points, or you can also interpret like this: suppose initially some object is here, and if that will move from here to here, this another position P2, then coordinate is going to change, and based on some well-defined property we are able to coin several new definitions. Suppose that one can see the distance between these 2 points like this. So using this vector I can talk about the distance. So I can talk about the displacement or distance, you can write. So I have coined one new terminology, that is called displacement or distance. So that is position with respect to the first orientation we are telling, and once I define the distance, then I can able to derive some new quantity. And you can easily see that during our physics course we have developed different quantity, and that different quantity is nothing but we are able to define the concept of velocity, after that concept of acceleration, and etc. So due to that reason, first we are defining some space, and after that we are incorporating some kind of distance, and based on that distance we are able to understand more clear picture about the object. Suppose that here we are able to understand that how basically this object is moving, with what velocity, how much time it will take from move from here to here. We can also define that how fastly they can move from here to here. So in this way, by incorporating some notion, that notion is called distance, we are able to understand lot of things in three-dimensional space. Now you may have seen that when I have started this course, at that time first I talk about the set. So set is nothing but some kind of unordered collection. So instead of this Euclidean space, now I am going to take some arbitrary non-empty set. Non-empty set means at least I have some element, and after that I am trying to incorporate the notion of distance. So in three-dimensional space we have already understood that how to talk about distance, but here in this set we have to give some kind of idea that how to characterize distance in some generalized non-empty set or some kind of collection of object, and where I have to define the notion of distance. So now basically we are talking about set with certain kind of distance. So initially we are talking about three-dimensional space with distance. Now we are moving any arbitrary collection, and here you can also see that x1, y1, z1 is again a set. So here whatever distance here I am talking in three-dimensional space also I can take like a set, and after that distance, but that is little more specific. But here I am generalizing, I am taking set and I am taking the some notion of distance, and that notion of distance in this set is called metric. We have already seen this concept. So now at least you are able to understand that how basically theory is going to develop. Basically we are making any kind of arbitrary collection or unordered collection, and after that we are incorporating the notion of distance, and that notion of distance inside that set has some specific name that is called the metric. And why basically we are doing? Because we can see that if I have notion of distance, then I can talk about the closeness, I can talk about the how basically we are moving from one point to another point, means we can talk about the continuity and several other notions. Due to that reason we are doing. So in previous class we have already defined these kind of notion, but in today's lecture I am going to connect each and every definition. In that way you are able to understand the roadmap of the development of the whole theory, and after that you are able to apply these kind of theory for your practical problem also. So again try to recall the definition of metric. So in order to define metric, I am going to take the arbitrary non-empty set, and after that I have defined the notion of metric. So a metric or distance is nothing but a function on x, means inside that set x is non-empty set here, and that function here x is the set. So we have to take 2 points in that set. So due to that reason I have defined Cartesian product. So this notion is Cartesian product, and D is the metric, and finally we are assuming that map to some kind of real number, And since I am defining distance function, and I have already told you that during our 10 plus 2, whatever distance we have learned, that has certain property. So same property I am trying to maintain here, and basically due to that reason we are imposing some certain kind of properties to this distance function. So you can see that in order to define distance I need at least 2 points. Due to that reason distance is function of x and y, and x and y point is, or x and y is any two object from some set, because I am taking the arbitrary collection of object, and after that I am defining the distance. So that should be greater than 0 and equal to 0 if both objects are same. You can interpret like this, and after that this dxy equal to dyx means if I will define some kind of distance between two objects, so whatever distance from x to y, same kind of distance is y to x, and this kind of things is true for each x, and this inequality is called triangular inequality. And once I have defined the notion of the distance, so now I have a space, and that space is nothing but that is called metric space. So metric space is basically, now I have set with distance. So now once distance comes into picture, then I can again able to further lot of theory, or I am able to incorporate lot of theory on the notion of set. That is the main idea. So I have started with unordered collection. After that I am going to add the notion of distance, and after that adding this distance we have given certain name, and that fancy name is nothing but metric space. So metric space is the set with occupied with some kind of distance, or we are telling metric, that is D, and due to that metric this space is called metric space. So now you are able to understand the difference between set and metric space. But most of time what happens that if you understood this difference, then in order to write somewhere metric space, simply we are using the same set x, and inherently that means that we are talking about some kind of metric space, means I have certain kind of set, and that set contains some notion of distance, and that notion should satisfy the property. Now I am going to give the interpretation, physical interpretation of that properties, and that property is like this: whatever distance function we have defined that is non-negative, means, and that is obvious that distance function is, several times I have talked about this, because due to the non-negativity we are able to compare two quantity very easily, and only point at zero distance from x is itself x, because we are talking about set, so I have arbitrary collection. So whenever zero distance means we have same object, or you can also able to think like this: suppose that I have collected lot of different quantity, so suppose that same quantity if come into picture, then I am going to put at same point, that is the meaning somehow. And distance is symmetric function, because we have already seen that dyx equal to dxy, and distance also satisfy the triangular property, because now in set I have certain notion of the distance. So if I have three different points inside some set, then it is possible to form certain kind of triangle, and after that one can use the triangular inequality. It means that summation of two sides is always greater than the third one. And same kind of things I have written in form of note for the point in the Euclidean plane the triangular inequality states that the length of one side of a triangle is less than the sum of the length of other two-sided. So that is the interpretation. Now, in order to appreciate this idea, let us try to see one application. And this is one of the most important application people are basically using whenever they are learning the genetics. So I am going to take some arbitrary example so that you are able to understand that these kind of ideas are not only applicable in engineering or mathematics, but it has wide applicability. And using biology, using finance, in finance also we are using these kind of concept. So here you can see that in this particular example I have taken certain kind of family tree. So here this family is started with A, and after that they have two children B and C, and after that they have certain kind of grandchildren D, E, F, G. So here if you see the set, so set is nothing but A, B, C, D, E, F and G, or more specifically if you just going to make the set of grandchildren, then that is D, G, F, G, like that. In this way also I can define. So this metric has certain name, ultra metric, because I have already told you that this is very useful, means in some area of genetics. So here I am making one set X, and I am assuming that it is a set of people of same generation with common ancestor. So in that way I have defined this set, and all grandchildren of a grandmother are shown in figure. In this way we have constructed one figure, and now I am going to introduce, since I am able to form some kind of metric, now some kind of set, non-empty set. So now I am going to define the metric or distance. So I am going to define the distance like this, that between any two individual X and Y, as the number of generation one has go back along the female line to find the first common ancestor. In this way we are defining the distance. Now if you see the distance between two sisters, that is 1, because both are originated from 1, and it is easy to check that D is a metric, means that is always positive, means whatever way we have defined, that is also symmetric and also satisfy the triangular inequality, and that triangular inequality is like this. So max, so you can take any 3 point X, Y, Z. So A, B, C, D we have defined, so any 3 quantity you can take, and after that you can apply the triangular inequality. So this kind of things is going to satisfy, and I have already told you that this metric has certain special name, and this is basically used in genetics to find the proximity of species. In this way we are characterizing the species, means how basically you are evolving, how Asian, how African, or these people are evolving. So there also we are using the notion of this kind of metric. So far what we have understood, that I have some unordered collection, and inside that unordered collection I am going to define one function that is called metric or distance function, and that function has 3 different property: non-negativity, after that symmetry, and they will satisfy the triangular inequality. Now when I have started the second part of this course, at that time I am talking about the vector space. So now let us try to see that how basically we are again making this collection, means collection of set. After that we are adding distance. So I am going to make that little more relevant. So what we have observed, that if we will just talk about this set, then I am not able to talk about any kind of operation, and most of time during the manipulation of something we are using the concept of operation. So now first we have to add certain kind of operation inside the set, and after that, after adding that operation, I am going to add the notion of distance inside this. So roadmap is like this. Initially I have set, I have added the notion of distance. Now I have set, I am going to add the two operation, and we have already learned that that is nothing but, if I take a linear space X over some field means I am talking about real number or complex number, and we are telling that as a vectors. So, and we are defining two operations, that is vector addition or scalar multiplication. And again, if you see, we several times we have talked about the vector space. So vector space is now nothing but some kind of set together with two operations, that is called vector addition or scalar multiplication. And we are assuming that that set is basically generated from some kind of real or complex number. So now from generalized set, I am going to become little more specific. So I have basically now this kind of roadmap. So I have set, and here the underlying object of this set is real number or complex number. So basically this set is generated by this real number or complex number, and after that I am going to add the vector addition and plus a scalar multiplication. If we will do this kind of job, then whatever space that is going to come into picture, that is called linear space. And lot of time I am discussing about the linear space. So due to completion of idea, I am again going to talk about this. In this way you are able to understand the whole roadmap. And obviously whenever we are defining the vector addition or scalar multiplication, then that will satisfy some property. So whatever set X, that will satisfy the commutative group with respect to operation, and that is called, we are telling that operation plus as a vector addition. And meaning of commutative group you have already learned during the first part of this course, that if I have three objects X, Y, Z, then I can understood like this. And we know the zero vector also. Meaning of zero vector, that if you add to any element, then that is going to create same element. And after that, once you fix the zero, then every vector X, there exists a unique vector minus X, such that if you add with that, then that is going to generate the zero vector. So in this way we have defined the vector addition, and after that we have understood that how to define the scalar multiplication. So till now what we have seen, that now I have set, and set is basically very specific. That is, so I have two different quantity till now. So what kind of quantity basically I am going to talk here? So I have in first place I have set with certain kind of notion of distance or metric, and second way we are talking about set, and here whatever set I am going to create, that is created using real number or complex number, and we are telling this as a vectors, and after that we are adding two operation, that is vector addition and scalar multiplication, like this. So here you can see that now if I add some more property to this second one, in first one I have two different property, and that two different property is like this, means I have set and notion of distance, because I have told you that notion of distance has several beautiful application. I can talk about the convergence, I can talk about the proximity, I am able to talk about the continuity, I am able to talk about the compactness. These kind of concept we are able to talk. But here you can see that I have set and I have operation. So now I know that how to manipulate, how to generate new quantity. But in this set I do not know how to generate new quantity. Whatever things given, that is fixed, and after that we have defined the distance. But due to these two operations, now I can regenerate quantity. So next place, using this particular thing, means set with two operation, that is called linear space. Now in this space I am going to add the notion of, again, that is length or distance, you can tell. So people are telling length here, because for distance, whenever we are talking about the convergence, at that time we are talking in terms of distance. But either you can talk about the length of vector or distance from origin, both are same. So if we add these two quantity, linear space means I have now a specific set with operation plus notion of the length. So this is nothing but distance from origin, and then origin you can take, because in this space whenever we are talking about linear space, then there always exists some kind of zero. So you can interpret that zero quantity as a origin, and after that you can calculate, take that as a reference, and after that you can calculate the distance, and based on that I am able to talk about the some more quantity. So now again, first important thing is that how to define the length in that particular linear space. And in order to define the length, I am again going to coin new terminology, that is called norm. And in previous class, several classes, we have seen that how to define norm in column space, space of matrix, in a space of function. So now we are quite familiar, so it is very easy to appreciate all the ideas. So norm is basically always defined in some linear space, and whenever we are talking about norm, that is nothing but length or distance from origin is certain kind of function, and again that will satisfy the same property like metric. And now this has some extra property. So whatever property here I am stating, somehow that satisfy the distance, same like metric, but here we are imposing some more property. You can see that non-negativity is common, so this is common. After that, triangular inequality is common, and This is also common, but here you can see that this is homogeneous, and obviously symmetry, there is no problem with symmetry because we are talking about distance from the 0. So either you can take distance of object from 0 or object to 0, that remains the same. But here I have one more quantity comes into picture, that is lambda x. If you scale by lambda, then automatically that will scale like this. So this property, suppose that if you are defining the just metric, then it might possible that this property may or may not be satisfied. So this is the crucial difference between norm and metric. So please, in this way you are able to appreciate that how basically metric is different from the norm. So norm has some extra property, and that property is that is called homogeneous. Homogeneous means if you scale each and every element of this vector, then finally you are getting same kind of scaling in the right hand side. So I hope that you are able to understand the difference between norm and metric. So, and later I will tell you the relation also. So now let us try to see that what is meaning of norm linear space. So now norm linear space is nothing but linear space occupied with the norm. Metric space is the set occupied with the metric, and norm linear space is I have a specific set where that set satisfies two particular operation, and after that now going to occupied with norm, and norm has some more property than the metric. So due to that reason, norm linear space is more restrictive than the metric space, but I have several advantage here. One of the advantage that I can do operation means vector addition and scalar multiplication. Another advantage is that I can also use the concept of homogeneity. So now let us try to see the relation between these two, means metric space and norm linear space. So a norm linear space is a metric space with, if you define the metric like this. So, but this is not only one way to define the metric. You are able to define metric in different way also. So basically here in this particular place you can see that if I put y equal to 0, then this metric from 0, that is exactly equal to this notion is called norm of x. So if I try to see the relation between norm linear space and metric space, then at that time I have to define metric like this. So all the concept defined for metric space therefore apply particularly to the norm linear space, because I have already told you that norm linear space is more restrictive. So I have added certain more property. In this way we can see the relation, and whatever metric I have defined, that is dxy equal to norm x minus y, it has some special property, and this also satisfies the translational invariance. Translational invariance means if you shift the point x and y by z, then distance remains the same. That is the meaning of this translational invariance. And homogeneity, I have already told you that because I have added some more property, so this is called homogeneity. In this way we are define the that will also satisfy the homogeneity. After that will satisfy the triangular inequality obviously, but here I have certain different interpretation of triangular inequality. So in order to appreciate that interpretation, first you try to make closed unit ball B bar of a norm linear space. X is the set we are defining whenever I am taking norm and I am putting less than equal to 1. If you remember, then whenever I am talking about L2, L infinity or L1, at that time L1 means norm linear space in the column. Whenever each and every vector in form of column, at that time we have defined something like this, and that forms certain kind of ball, and shape of ball may be sometime maybe like circle, sometime it might possible like some kind of a square, sometime maybe of different shape. So here whenever we are talking ball, then that doesn't mean that I am talking about some kind of circle or a sphere. Shape may be anything. So somehow we are generalizing the notion of ball. And if subset C of a linear space is convex, then the convexity, this property is called convexity, because if you have 2 points x and y, then by scaling T, it is possible to show that if x and y lie inside some space, then line joining from x to y always going to lie inside that. So basically, meaning of triangular inequality, that unit ball, whatever ball I am going to consider, that is also convex. That is the interpretation of the triangular inequality in case of this kind of metric. If I define metric by x minus y, dxy equal to x minus y, so I have translational invariance, I have homogeneity, I have triangular inequality, and meaning of triangular inequality is we are talking about some kind of convex set. It means that if I am able to give surety that 2 points are going to lie in that space, then it is possible to show that line joining between that two is also going to lie inside that space. And from it is possible to confirm, because we have already seen that for 2 norm, infinity norm and 1 norm, I have this kind of shape. So suppose that if you are in B1 space, and at that time if you take any 2 arbitrary point, you can see that everywhere these kind of things is going to satisfy. Means the area is always convex. So this is convex and whole, so everything is convex. So that is the interpretation of the triangular inequality. Or other way you can see that you can just take 3 points and add 2 points, and after that 3rd point, then whatever distance from these two points, that is also going to lie inside that space, and summation of this and this is always greater than this. So in this way we are interpreting the triangular inequality in case of the specific metric space. After that, this point whatever I have written in form of remark, so basically now I am going to discuss that point in the next lecture, that is the convergence. Actually main idea is like this, so I will again discuss in the next class. Now I have linear space and I have notion of length. So basically suppose you have certain kind of a space and you know that length of this point from the some origin. So here I have origin, so this is some d1. Similarly you have 2 point, second point, that distance from origin is d2, or length of this vector. Suppose this is vector, then length, in order to calculate the length we have to see the distance from the origin. During Euclidean space we have already done this kind of exercise. So now I can define the directly this distance from point 1 to 1, and suppose this point is x and y. So basically now I have dx minus y and that is nothing but like this. So basically this notion tells us the distance between x and y, and if I have notion of distance, then I can talk about the various property between these 2 points. So suppose that if this point is doing certain kind of dynamic character, then it is possible to show that this point is going to converge here or diverge from here. So this kind of notion I am going to discuss in the next class. So if you have finite dimensional linear space, then in order to define this distance, whatever I have written x minus y, so in that case you can able to take any norm, and notion of convergence remains the same. So irrespective of norm, either you can take L1, L2, L infinity, whatever, that doesn't matter. But if you have infinite dimensional linear space, we have already talked about the space where function is going to lie, that is infinite dimensional linear space, such as function space we have already talked. So in there we have completely different notion of the convergence, and so definition of this norm is very, very crucial. So based on different norm, I have different notion of the convergence. But somehow the notion of distance is related to the specific metric, and metric is x minus y. Due to that reason, I have written this remark here. Now another way to define metric or non-linear metric in non-linear space, one can define like this also. But please see here that this particular things is little bit different, because here homogeneity property is not obvious, but translational invariance and triangular inequality is obvious, but it is not possible to talk about the homogeneity. So but inside non-linear space I can define metric which will not satisfy the property of norm. So somehow not all property of norm. So basically whatever homogeneity we are talking, that is somehow violated here. And so in this way I can talk about the metric in another way to define the metric, but most common way I am defining like x minus y and norm. So in this way we are going to talk about the convergence. So what is conclusion of the today's lecture? So I am going to write now the conclusion. So I have conclusion. So initially I have Euclidean space, and in that Euclidean space I have notion of distance, and due to that reason I am able to talk about the convergence, I am able to talk about the continuity, and I am able to talk about the compactness or completeness. So we will see these kind of term one by one in the next lecture, next subsequent lectures. After that, what we have done, that we are going to generalize it. So basically I am going to do here generalization, and generalization is like this. In place of Euclidean space I am going to substitute the set, and I am going to maintain the distance, and I have make sure that some properties, distance like property is satisfied here, and this distance I am going to give certain specific name, that is metric. So this space is called metric space. After that, what we have done, that we have generated set based on real number or complex number, and after that we are going to add two property, and then I am going to add the notion of distance here, or length, you can tell, distance from origin, and after that I am going to add the notion of length, and these thing I have given some fancy name that is called norm. So now basically I have this particular quantity is linear space and plus norm, and finally what we are getting, now we are able to get the concept of the non-linear space. So this space has several advantages, because almost all real system, whenever we are dealing, somehow that will fall here, because I have to perform the operation. So for performing operation, we have certain tool. In order to define some kind of distance, we have certain tool. So this space is very, very useful for the particularly practical applications. And we have already seen that metric space also has several applications. So I cannot blindly tell that metric space is only mathematical concept. This has also several kind of advantage. And after that we have established the relationship between the non-linear space and metric space. So we are telling that non-linear space containing the metric, and metric here that is denoted by, defined like this. So in this way we have seen the relation between set, distance, set with operation, specific operation plus distance, and after that set with distance, after that specific set with operation or algebraic structure, you can tell. So in this way we are able to generalize lot of things, and next class I am going to talk about the convergence, because now I know the notion of distance in non-linear space, generalized distance, because in any 2 point I can now define the distance. So using help of that distance I am going to talk about the notion of convergence. So with this discussion I am going to close the today's lecture. Thank you very much.